Hey everyone! Welcome to We Talk English. Join me as we explore the world of news, one story at a time. We'll break down complex topics, improve your English, and have some fun along the way. Subscribe now and let's learn English together.
Okay, so you know how everyone's talking about climate change and how things are getting kind of crazy?
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic these days.
Well, get this. Have you heard about it snowing in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia. Snow. Really?
Yep, camels in the snow.
Wow.
We're going to do a deep dive on this. We found this discussion from the We Talk English podcast about this crazy weather event. It's, it's one thing to see a headline like that, snow in the desert. But we wanted to, dig in a little deeper.
Right, go beyond just the shock value.
Exactly. What's the actual science behind it? And what does it tell us about, how our climate is changing?
Yeah, that's the important stuff.
So to start off, can you just, set the scene for us?
Yeah.
Where exactly did this happen in Saudi Arabia?
So this happened in a region called Al Jaf.
Al Jaf.
Yeah. It's in the northern part of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And it's known for being, super hot and dry.
All right. Like a desert.
Yeah, exactly. A total desert landscape. So you can imagine people's surprise when they woke up to snow.
I bet they were freaking out.
Oh, yeah. It was a huge deal. And we're not talking a little dusting here.
Yeah.
There was enough snow for people to actually build snowmen.
No way.
Yeah. And have snowball fights and all that fun stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
I know, right? There are these photos going around online of camels standing in the snow. It's pretty surreal.
That is so strange. I saw this one tweet that was like, Mother Nature is changing its colors. This rare snowfall is proof that the world is full of surprises. Or something like that. It had thousands of retweets. People were loving it.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those moments that captures everyone's imagination.
Oh.
But, beyond the spectacle of it all, there is some interesting science behind why this happened.
Right. Okay, so let's get into that.
Yeah.
How does snow even happen in a place as hot and dry as Saudi Arabia? Isn't that just impossible?
Well, it's definitely rare, but it's not impossible. And in this case, it all boils down to this thing called a low-pressure system.
A low-pressure system.
Right. So basically a low-pressure system formed over the Arabian Sea.
Okay.
And it basically, sucked in a lot of moist air. And when that moist air collided with the hot desert air that was already there, you get this, perfect storm of weather conditions.
Okay.
That can lead to thunderstorms and rain and, even snow.
Wow, so it's all about that clash of hot and cold air.
Exactly. It creates the right conditions for those little snowflakes to form.
That's fascinating. But like I said, it's not totally unheard of for it to snow in Saudi Arabia.
Right. Yeah, you're right. They have had, isolated snowfall before.
Okay.
But the thing is, this event was unusual because of how much snow there was. And also the timing. It happened in the middle of winter, which is, not typically when you expect this kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's why scientists are connecting it to climate change.
Right.
Some experts are saying that these low-pressure systems, they might be getting more intense because of changes in global weather patterns.
Yeah.
And so that could mean that events like this, they might become more likely in the future.
That's pretty worrying. What are the long-term effects of something like this, do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a big concern. Imagine how this could affect things like agriculture in the region.
Right.
Crops that are used to hot, dry weather, they might not survive these sudden cold snaps.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then there's the impact on water resources.
Oh, yeah.
Will there be enough water to support the population if these kinds of weather events become more common?
Right, because they're not used to that.
Exactly. And then you have infrastructure to consider.
Okay.
Are the roads and buildings in the region equipped to handle snow and ice?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And we were even saying before we started recording about how even tourism could be affected.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People might not want to visit a place if they're not sure what kind of weather to expect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Will it be scorching hot? Will it be freezing cold? It's unpredictable.
So it sounds like we've got this super cool visual, a literal picture postcard of camels in the snow.
Yeah.
But it's also this reminder of just how much our climate is changing, and maybe not for the better.
Right. It's like a beautiful warning sign.
Yeah. Is there anything that people can do? What can we do to mitigate these these impacts of climate change?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And unfortunately, there's no easy answer. I mean, we can't just snap our fingers and stop climate change from happening.
Yeah.
But we can definitely work on mitigating the impacts, and there are a lot of things that people are already doing, like reducing greenhouse gas emissions,
Okay.
investing in renewable energy sources, and promoting sustainable land use practices. These are all things that can help.
It seems like it's all about thinking globally, even when it comes to these, seemingly isolated events.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happens in one part of the world, it can really have ripple effects everywhere else.
It's all connected. So as we wrap up our deep dive into, this incredible event, I want to leave you with something to think about. If, deserts, like places that we think of as always hot and dry, if they become more prone to these really extreme weather events, how do you think that's going to impact food security for the whole planet?
That's a great question.
It's something to think about. It's a complex issue. It has a lot of far-reaching consequences, and it's definitely something that's worth, exploring further and learning more about.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. I hope you learned something new, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
And, again, thanks for joining us on We Talk English.